back in the High Street. We've travelled down to the entrance to St Martin's Walk again, and if we continue on our way through that entrance, we would emerge on the left-hand side of this model, just below the church. The rotunda, the round building, now represents the new intended end of St Martin's Walk. Now, we made a little cardboard model to help an explanation of this scheme, and this is what we're now just going to, as it were, take to pieces. If we take all the levels out, this will bring us, if we go one level at a time, down through the 4 levels to arrive at level 1, the bottom level. And note the height of the retaining wall at the back. That's about 10 metres. Did you notice also that Sainsbury's and Marks and Spencer's were 1 level down from the top? Don't worry if you missed it, you'll see it again as we build up. The curved shapes in the foreground are the wide-fronted plinths of the residential development that's on the margin between the main scheme and the football ground. These at this level are wide-fronted units that look one way only and are part of the social housing commitment. The serrated roof building is the pub, a replacement pub. Level 1, the lowest level of the development, cut right in on the level to form a generous single deck of car parking, just over 200 cars, with a simple and friendly circulation and reasonably generous aisles and spaces, something that the customer should appreciate. Now we move up a level to level 2. Note the service yard on the left of the picture, and note North Edge Green, as it were, towards bottom right. This is out in the open air, and you can walk out from car park level 2 onto North Edge Green, and North Edge Green gives you the entrance to the orange coloured and green coloured housing that you can see clustered there. But the car park itself, another user-friendly deck, fairly generous aisles and spaces, and like level 1, linked with lifts, travellators to the next level up. And the next level up that we're coming to very shortly is the shopping level for Sainsbury's and for Marks and Spencer's. A small third level for car parking, mainly for those with mobility difficulties, and principal interest is centred on the left-hand side in the large space between Marks and Spencer's and Sainsbury's. Now, let's refer back to our plan, because it's important to recognise that we're 1 deck down relative to St Martin's Walk itself. So let's just remind ourselves of the circumstances of St Martin's Walk. Let's take that look at the plan. Let us start on our plan at the bottom, at the entrance that comes in from the High Street. You enter under an archway with retail on both sides and proceed for a very short distance until you come into Church Square. Now, Church Square, the flow splits to the left for the Marks and Spencer's existing entrance and straight on to go through what is a reasonably narrow opening and a short run until you emerge in St Martin's Square. St Martin's Square functions rather awkwardly at the moment, being split between 2 levels. On the level of the Walk, at the northern extremity of St Martin's Walk, and a lower level overlooked from this, and from which you view the shop front for Marks and Spencer's, where it faces the car park. Again, a split-in flow. You either go through Marks and Spencer's or you come up the steps and go along the Walk. Not really very satisfactory from anybody's point of view. It is possible to resolve this dilemma when proceeding in either direction. And in order to do this, we'll return to Church Square and come forward again on the basis of the proposals. So once again, to remind ourselves with the plan and to return to Church Square to start upon a new walk. Church Square is a fine space to be in on a sunny day because they bring out the tables and chairs and it's a very attractive place to sit, but the retailing is on one side and there is a very definite split in the flow, and even with control of tables and people you definitely have to make up your mind whether you are going ahead to St Martin's Square or whether you are turning left and into Marks and Spencer's. A split in the flow which does nobody any favours. So let's move on in a forward direction and see what it is that we are actually proposing. The proposal is to do away with this ambiguity, to create positive anchoring on the far side of St Martin's Square. The commercial drive is now single-minded, with vigorous and interesting and improved retailing to left and to right, and you are led on by the whole circumstance, the whole visual drive, as well as, rather obviously here by the signage, but really it's the way to go if you're on your way to or from the enlarged car park and the enormously improved and powerful draw of what are the two major anchors now to St Martin's Walk. When you enter upon the top space that overlooks Sainsbury's and Marks and Spencer's, you are in an exciting environment with all the means of transport available: lift, escalator and stairs, and at the same time you're not in a shopping mall. Far from it. You're still in attractive Dorking with really rather splendid views. Far from competing with the commercial, these will add impetus